everybody, Miss Jessie here again over at the Townsend Library, and thank you so much for joining me on this week's story time and craft. Today we're going to read one of my most favorite stories, and it's called The Hat, and the author and the illustrator is a woman named Jan Brett. Are you ready? Here we go. Winter was on the way. Lisa took her woolen clothes out of the closet and carried them outside. She was hanging them up in the fresh air when a strong wind blew one of her stockings off the line. Now, a stocking is another word for a sock. So one of her socks, the wind blew it right down. Curious Hedgie found it and poked his nose in. When he pulled it out, the stocking was stuck on his prickles. How embarrassing, Hedgie thought. So, Hedgie, the little hedgehog, was nuzzling his way to check out the sock, and it got stuck on his prickles, and he can't get it off. The mother hen came by with her chicks. Cackle, cackle, she clucked and laughed. What's that on your head, Hedgie? Why, it's my new hat, he told her. Isn't it beautiful? The mother hen cocked her head as if she had an idea, and then she ran off. Hedgie saw the noisy gander looking down at him. Honk, honk, the gander laughed. Look at that! The hedgehog has flipped his gizzard. Laughed today, gander, but tomorrow when it rains, my hat will keep me dry. The gander thought for a moment, and then he ran off. So all of his animal friends are starting to look at Hedgie saying, "What are you doing, Hedgie? Why do you have that on your head?" The barn cat was watching from a tree as Hedgie tugged at the stocking. "Meow," he called down. "What a silly-looking hedgehog you are with that thing on your head." But my ears will be warm in a snowstorm. Purred the cat, and he ran off. So Hedgie's just trying to tell them how great it is that he has his new special hat. The farm dog and her puppies found Hedgie in a patch of brambles, kind of like a pricker bush. "Hedgie, is that a hat you're wearing? How funny you look," she barked, and her puppies yelped and giggled. "I'll be cozy and dry when it snows," Hedgie said. The farm dog's ears perked up, and off he ran. "Oink, oink," the piglets squealed. "What are you up to, Hedgie?" the mama pig asked. "Making sure my hat doesn't fall off if an icy wind blows." "I see," said the mama pig, and off she ran. "Hedgie, what is that ridiculous thing on your head?" the pony snorted at Hedgie. This was the last straw. So what that means is that Hedgie was really trying to be nice to all the other animals, but poor Hedgie's now getting frustrated. He doesn't like that the animals are kind of laughing at him about the stocking stuck on his head. "It's my hat, of course. Don't you know that everyone should wear a hat in the winter when it's cold and snowy?" Hedgie shouted. The pony looked startled. Hedgie was usually so friendly, and off he ran. Hedgie just wanted to be alone. He was tired of everyone laughing at him, And with this thing on his head, he wouldn't even fit in his den. So now poor Hedgie is starting to feel sad. He just wishes it would be over and he could take off the stocking. He didn't see Lisa, the little girl, running after him, the other stocking in her hand. "Come back, you silly hedgehog," she called. "Oh no," Hedgie thought, "even the girl is laughing at me." Lisa caught up and pulled the stocking off of Hedgie's head. "You ridiculous little hedgehog," she laughed. "Don't you know that animals don't wear clothes?" She helped him. Hedgie headed back for his den, and Lisa started towards the clothesline. That's when she saw all her missing woolens. So while Lisa was running after Hedgie to get her stocking back, something weird happened to the rest of her clothes on the clothesline. Look. Who took all of Lisa's clothes? The animals had taken them, and each one was thinking, "Now I am wearing a magnificent hat." So even when all the animals were looking at Hedgie and thinking, "Hedgie, why are you wearing that stocking? Why do you have on a hat?" They then thought, that's a pretty good idea. Lisa was still chasing them when Hedgie reached his den. How ridiculous they look. Don't they know that animals should never wear clothes? The end. So even though getting his head stuck was a mistake for Hedgie, it ended up being a really good idea for the other animals. They thought, this is going to be warm and cozy. So silly. All right, so now, if you have your kids near you, we get to make our very own Hedgie. So here's the kit that you would have picked up from the library, and inside you have your very own Hedgie shape. You have a funny hat shape. Now I gave you a hat that doesn't totally look like a hat, because remember, was it a hat that got stuck on his head? It wasn't. It was Lisa's sock, her stocking. So I kind of got you like a funny little scrunchy hat sock shape. You have a little piece of white chalk that we're going to use to decorate the hat a little bit, okay? Because in the story, I can show you on the cover. See Hedgie's sock or Lisa's sock that got stuck? There's some white designs on there. So I gave you a piece of chalk thinking we could make our stocking have some white designs on it too. You have an eyeball for his eye. You have a black pom-pom. This will be his nose. And then lots and lots and lots of strips of brown paper. And we'll use these to make his prickles, to make his quills. And then you have a little tub of glue to help stick everything. And then you'll also have a Q-tip, a cotton swab in there. And that's what you're going to use as your little brush to get the glue onto your paper. Now what's funny is that Miss Jessie's cotton swab is missing. So I don't know if some animal tried to come in here and took it. I don't know. So I'm going to be using one of these sticks, but in your kit you should have a little Q-tip that you can use. Are you ready to get started? Okay. I'm going to tilt you down, and I think we can start with the hat shape, and we'll do some decorating. So I'm going to put you down like this. Okay. And then I have my hat shape. Okay, so we can then take our piece of chalk and you can just start decorating it a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to go this way so you can see a little. And it can be whatever kind of designs that you want. You can do some squiggly lines, some circles, so they may look like a polka dot, some stripes, ziggy-zaggy. Some more circles. So you're just making a special design. I bet at your house that you might even have some socks that have some fun designs on them. Okay, so we decorated our sock. Ready? I'm going to show you again another picture. Do you see how Hedgie's? See how it has the design? So that's just kind of what we added a little bit to our shape. Okay, and now we can put that aside because we'll put this on Hedgie's head in a little bit. So then you can reach for your shape like this. And then I'm going to get my glue. And start putting some glue all at the top. Because this is where we'll have his prickles come from. Again, you have your Q-tip, so you have a different tool than I do. Mine is missing, and then I couldn't find them. The rest of them at the library, which is very silly. And then our brown strips. You can just start adding them to the top of his body. These are his prickly quills, sort of like a porcupine. All around. Until you think that he has enough quills and prickers on him. And then I'm going to also use the glue and put a little bit on his nose, on the black cotton ball. And then stick it on his nose, just like that. Okay, and then we have his eye. And this is an eye challenge that if you want, you can try to peel the back off or just use your glue. So, he has all of his quills. He has a googly eye. He has his nose. And then the last thing we can do is add his hat. Now at the beginning, his hat maybe got stuck just at the top of his head. But as the story is going, it kind of gets smushed and pushed and snagged all different places on him. So you really can put his hat wherever you want. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back so that I'll just press it down on his quills. Let's see, I'm going to put it kind of right here. Some of his quills are even poking through. So here we have our very own Hedgies. Very silly. Well, thank you all so much for joining me for another story time in craft, and I hope that you sign up and join me again next week for a whole new book and activity. Thank you. See you soon.